you'll see a little notification pop up. Ah, there we go. Saying that the meeting here is being live streamed. So this goes out onto our YouTube channel, which then allows and enables you guys to check out the sessions in between the live sessions as well. So yeah, if anyone's doing that, wonderful. I hope they've been of help. So you guys can just repeat these practices and go through them again, even when we're not doing them at the time. So we are on time now, so let's get going. I'd really like to just begin by checking in with you. I'd really like to hear from you in the chat. I see some new faces. It'd be really nice to get to know you and to check in with the guys who I know quite well. So how about we begin and you just find my name on the chat and just let me know who you are, where you are, and if you've been before. What brings you here? So whether you've been a million times before or this is your first time, I'm just really interested, like what brings you here today? It could be in general, or what brought you to come along to today's session. I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. As I said, just find my name on the chat box, Solomon, and just let me know what's your name, where you are, and if you're one of those people who, it's at some like crazy time in the morning and you're up really late, then let me know that as well. I'm always super impressed that people make it all kinds of times. But yeah, what are you doing here? And while you do that, I'll introduce myself a little bit for those of you who don't know me. My name is Solomon. I'm beaming into you right now from the south coast in the UK, a little place called Brighton. And I'm a mindfulness teacher here, so I go into schools and universities and companies, and I run courses in, unsurprisingly, mindfulness. Oh yeah, so I was just checking that the chat box was working. So yeah, it's what I do, and I run the mindfulness and well-being side of things here at StudyStream, and I absolutely love it. We have a really nice group of people here creating this platform and always thinking about what the next thing is that we can do for you. So let's have a look. It looks like everybody's frozen. That's why I'm just pausing. I'm not sure if you can hear me in the moment. Let me know maybe in the chat box if you're able to hear. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, you can just saw me pause for a really long time. Cool. Okay, great. Let's keep going. So we have Kashania from Vietnam. Oh, here we go. It's 1:31 a.m. and it's my first time here. Beautiful. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining us. Shruti here from India, who's been here before. Awesome. Welcome back. Josefina from Argentina. I have an exam on Monday, and these sessions help me focus and stay motivated. Perfect. Enya, hi, my name's Enya. I've been stressing out lately, but not completely certain things because I feel so unmotivated, so felt like joining today. Yeah, I've been struggling with motivation a little bit myself at the moment, and I've been trying to work with my mindfulness practice to help me with that. So hopefully we can all get a bit of a boost from that today. Someone says my second time here, really love the first one. And Alexandra from Jakarta, Indonesia, it's 1:31 a.m. I'm working on my final defense thesis and need motivation to do. That's why I join. Then I got this notification for the session and I wanted to join for the first time. Awesome, really happy that you can be here. And Lesha as from India also says hi. Perfect. Oh, one more. Niranjan from India, attended your sessions more than twice, really helps me calm down and cope with anxiety. And Lewis from the Philippines, it's currently 2:33 a.m., pretty late here. It's my first time being here in the mindfulness session. I'm a month behind school because I'm having a really hard time adjusting with the current setting. But thanks, Lewis, for letting us know, and really welcome. Thank you for joining us. I think it's always really nice to have a little check-in at the beginning and just see all the different people who have arrived and the reasons why we're here. And I always say at the beginning of these sessions that, really most of us, most of the time, find that mindfulness can be really beneficial. If we're feeling a little bit stressed, a little bit tense, struggling with our mood at the moment. I mean, maybe we're just here, we're feeling good, but we're just looking for that bit of motivation or some focus. But for those of us who are having a bit of a tough time at the moment, this may well, I hope it is, maybe this is exactly where you're meant to be, and this is really going to be something that's a benefit. But I also always say that if at any point being here in this session feels a little bit too overwhelming or uncomfortable, you know, because we are going to practice something which does bring about a sense of self-reflection, a lack of distraction, and then it can be quite challenging sometimes to just sit with our experience. So I always say that if at any point it doesn't feel right, you always have that choice to just take some time out and maybe redirect your attention to a thought or a feeling or an experience that feels like it's going to benefit you more in this moment. And whether you do that inside the session or you actually jump off for a moment and do something that you know is going to really help you in that moment, whether it's doing some exercise or reading an inspiring book, then I really encourage you to know that that is a choice that you have. So the theme for this session is around trusting the process. And the way I want to frame this is around when we study, it's a little bit like a journey going from the unknown to the known. And this sometimes when we're stuck in that uncertainty, we're still in that process from the unknown to the known. It can be quite challenging. We sometimes don't do so well with uncertainty, and we can feel out of our depth and frustrated and confused and sometimes lose hope. And often that can manifest as a loss of motivation as well. And so our studies can struggle for all of those reasons. With mindfulness, hopefully we can bring a little bit of clarity to that journey, and we can understand the cycles of learning, that we're actually constantly moving between the known and the unknown, back and forth. And by observing our experience and learning skills and how to relate to those experiences in a kinder and more patient way, then hopefully we can do the same with our studies. And when we're struggling to understand a concept, when we are learning something new for the first time, or it just feels beyond us, we have already developed the capacity to be with that discomfort a little bit better. We've already practiced sitting with some stillness, with some silence, and just observing how our minds automatically react to whatever comes up in our experience, and just becoming familiar and increasingly okay with that. So it's, I guess, about appreciating that uncertainty isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, and we can become increasingly comfortable with discomfort, if that makes some sense. So we can almost imagine that learning and studying, being a student, is a little bit like walking through like a mountain range, and we're kind of going from A to B, and maybe we can't even see B. We can't even see the destination that's quite far away. And sometimes we're walking up a mountain and we're coming back down the other side, and then we get stuck in a little valley, and then we come up and down and winding round, and sometimes that journey feels relatively serene and peaceful and engaging and energizing and easy. And sometimes we lose sight of the direction even where we're going, and it's really tough going, and there's more uncertainty, and it's just tougher work. So we understand that this is a journey, it's a process, and we go between the two, the ease and the unease, the certainty and the uncertainty, the known and the unknown. So with mindfulness, we can bring this awareness to our studying experience, to our journey as students, and just appreciate that this is necessarily what it involves. The Buddhists have a little bit of a, they have a symbol of the lotus. It's a flower that grows from the mud. It's a really beautiful flower that sits up above a pond and grows out of the mud. And it's used really nicely to talk about how it's about the ability of nature and of humans as well to thrive, not just through adversity and challenge, but indeed because of it. We're really able to step up to the challenges of our studies, the hard stuff, and actually quite a lot of the time, that is the stuff that enables us to bloom and to come out the other side. So understanding how we ultimately thrive, though challenging, can help us to trust in the learning process and work through it. So that's what we're working with today. I hope that resonated on some level with some of you. We're going to move into our meditation practice now. And we're going to remember some of what I just talked about as we do it, about uncertainty, about being present with whatever arrives in our experience, and remembering that these meditation practices is just the training ground for real life. We can just experiment and see what happens when we bring some stillness, and we, as best as we can, try to bring our focus into different parts of our experience. Notice when the mind wanders, when it gets a little bit frustrated, when it feels out of its depth or it feels uncertain, and just recognizing that and being okay with that. And each time just bringing it back time and again, and just seeing if we can be kind and patient with ourselves. So let's begin the practice by just giving ourselves a little stretch. Bring a little bit of movement into the body, noticing if there's any tension, and just allowing it to stretch out. Remembering that the mind and the body are really just all part of the same system. So if we can bring some loving attention to the body, often our mind will react with some joy. So just noticing if there's any tension, a gentle massage maybe, a gentle stretch. Sometimes when we work and study super hard, we stop paying ourselves that loving attention that we deserve and that will benefit us as well. And then when we're happy with that, we can just allow the body to come to some stillness. And just allow the body to settle. And if it feels comfortable to you, you can just allow the eyes to gradually close. And just becoming comfortable with how it feels for the body to just be sitting still with nothing that you need to do right now, nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to achieve. Just having a sense of the whole body sitting here. Being held down by gravity, but being supported also by the floor and by the seats underneath you. And then we're going to continue with this practice by bringing our attention into the part of the body where you notice the breath moving most clearly. So just noticing where you feel that felt sensation of the breath in your body. It may be in the nostrils, slightly cooler air coming in, slightly warmer air going out. Might be in the throat, maybe in the lungs, or maybe lower down in the belly. So just choosing one of these places and just noticing how it feels as the rhythm of the breath moves in and out of the body. Allowing the breath to breathe itself. There's no need to control the breathing. There's no right or wrong way to be doing this. And just allowing your attention to be open and soft and kind. And each time that the mind wanders, just noticing this as a moment of mindfulness. And accepting that, and knowing that that doesn't mean that you're doing the practice wrong. It's just observing the natural pattern of the mind. Having been designed to think, it's just doing what it does. And then you can just bring it back again to a sense of the body breathing. And as best you can, following closely so you notice the changing physical sensations for the full duration of each breath. The in-breath and the out-breath, and the pauses in between. And noticing if there's any sense of expectation or judgment, some sense of wishing that this moment was somehow different from how you are experiencing it. And just softening around that judgment. As best you can, just letting that go. There's no need to bring that into this. And each time just returning the mind again into the body and the movements that you notice as you breathe. As we now expand the spotlight of our attention to take in the body as a whole. Sense of the whole body sitting here, breathing. Feeling your whole body breathing all by itself. And just like before, no need to do anything. There isn't another thing on our to-do list that needs to be ticked off. We're merely staying tuned in to the different fluctuating tidal sensations of the full duration of each breath. Noticing if there's any movement from the breath in all parts of the body. Maybe a gentle rocking of the head, movement in the shoulders, out into the arms, down into the legs. Sense of the whole body breathing. And being present for this breath. And this breath. And this breath. And as you breathe, also being aware of any other sensations present in the body. Perhaps sensations of warmth or coolness. Sensations of relaxation or tension. Maybe tingling or numbness. Or maybe noticing nothing much at all. Whatever you notice is your experience, and that's all we're doing. And at times there may be intense, uncomfortable, painful sensations in the body. And if these are present, you can choose to imagine that your breath can move into the discomfort, exploring them without any wish to get rid of anything. Just simply exploring the bundles of sensations, noticing which sensations stay the same and which ones change. Or you may choose to slowly adjust yourself to become more comfortable. And if you choose this, just as best as you can, remaining present throughout. So being aware of the impulse to move, and the movement itself, and the after effects of the movement. So really folding the movement into the mindfulness practice. And then, if possible, choosing to return the attention to being aware of the sensations throughout the body once again. And if the mind feels too distracted or too overwhelmed in intense sensations, remembering that you have this choice to take your attention to somewhere that feels welcome, comfortable, and stable. And this may be related to the breath, the movement in the belly perhaps, or maybe the sense of support from contact with the floor or with the seat beneath, or maybe of your hands resting in your lap. Perhaps this can be a more enjoyable anchoring sensation for you if you're having a tough time. And then for the last couple of minutes here, allowing the attention now to turn to an awareness of sounds. And almost like your body is a microphone, receiving sounds. So no need to go searching for sounds, but just noticing what sounds come your way. The louder, harsher, obvious sounds, but also the quieter, softer, more subtle sounds as well. Sounds that reach you from all directions, and sounds from far away and from nearby. Just tuning into the raw qualities of the sound themselves. You may notice that certain visual images arrive in your awareness. Thoughts as well about what it is that's making the sound. And that's fine and normal. But each time just bringing our attention back again to the very sound itself, the quality of the sound. And then as we come towards the end of this practice, gathering the attention once more to the sensations in the part of the body where you feel the movement most clearly. And as well as that, just a sense of the body sitting here, being supported and held up by the chair beneath you. An awareness of the space that your body occupies in the room, the outline of your skin. And perhaps alongside that, there's an accompanying sense of groundedness, of stability. And perhaps not. But either way, just noticing how it is that we feel in this moment. And so with the sound of that bell, we come to the end of our practice. And I invite you to bring a little bit of movement into the body once again. just like we did at the beginning. A gentle stretch or massage in those parts of the bodies that would really appreciate it. And as you do this, just realizing that by practicing mindfulness, we are intentionally deepening our ability to be fully present in our daily lives, as well as just the time that we practice here together. And we can help this by remembering that we can bring awareness to our breath, or to our body, or to the sounds around us at any point, not just during these sessions. So remembering that we can always tune into the movement in the body of the breath, or maybe our posture or other sensations that we notice. Or tune into the sounds around us, just to bring us back into the present moment. As a little check-in, it's always available to us, connecting us into the presence of each moment of our lives. And so if your eyes are still closed, you're invited to open them back up again as we come out of this practice. And in line with what I just said, also seeing if we can set that intention to bring a sense of present moment awareness into the next thing that we do today. So now that we've finished the practice, all sense of mindfulness doesn't need to leave with it. We can maintain that thread of awareness throughout the day. So having said that, we've got just a couple of minutes left. And again, we have the chat box open. And it would be really nice if a few people wanted to find my name there and write me a message and just let me know how that practice was, how that sat with you. Perhaps something from my little introductory talk about the journey and the uncertainty involved in being a student, and how we just trust that process. We learn to become increasingly comfortable with uncertainty, which can be quite uncomfortable. But remembering that even though the journey can feel long and we can't always see the destination, just like walking through a mountain range, there are ups and downs and valleys and, well, all kinds of aspects of our experience that we can just appreciate are part of the journey. And we remember that the image of the lotus leaf growing out of the mud, it's not despite the mud that it grows and becomes a beautiful flower. It's because of it. It's because that mud actually contains all the sustenance and nutrients that it requires to grow. So remembering that sometimes things that are challenging in life, sometimes they can actually help us get further along to where we want to go. Okay, so we have a couple of people writing in. And always, if there's anyone else who'd like to write in, it'd be really nice to see how you found that, what you noticed during that practice, how your experience was. But we have someone here who says, I couldn't clear an exam today. Since the afternoon, I've been crying. It gave relief to my sore eyes and my aching head. Thank you. And I think that's Shruti who's written that. Thank you so much. Sorry to hear that you've had a bit of a tough time. There were some tears earlier. I'm glad that you've managed to find some relief here. And sometimes those tears, they do, it's sometimes integrating challenging emotions really can actually help us to process them. So I hope that there wasn't any judgment from you in terms of your reaction to your experience. Really allowing those emotions to come forth and come out can help with that processing. So I'm really glad that you joined us today and this felt helpful. Kay says it was nice to just let go of the anxiety or stress as I'm preparing for an exam in a few hours and feel refreshed. Oh, well, I'm really glad that you joined us then, and super pleased that you're feeling a little bit refreshed. Good luck with the exam. Shruti says, you've been kind. I was grateful to be here. God bless you. Thank you, Shruti. And Joe says, wonderful session. The practice was really good, as well as the introduction. Finally feeling restored after a very stressful week. Thank you. And Kiana says, I was floating. Okay, don't float off too far. You need to be back here for Wednesday's session. Natasha says, hi, Solomon. I liked your analogy of the lotus growing from the mud. That's changed my perspective of uncertainty. Thank you. Also, can't wait for Also, can't wait for your new Wi-Fi. Yes, regulars will know Wi-Fi has been a challenge for me. I've tried many things, but yes, in a few short weeks, a new box will be arriving and hopefully it will improve. I can't wait as well. Niranjan says, at certain points I felt impatient and felt better at the end. Yeah, how interesting. Sometimes just noticing the impatience and working with the impatience and just being there with it. It's interesting. Through that process, it brought about some sense of feeling better towards the end. I hope there's some learning in that for all of us there. Really great example. Thank you. Louise says, I was able to feel relief, even just briefly. I heard and felt a pulse within my head. Thank you. Great noticing. To hear and feel the pulse within the head, that's some really specific, subtle sensations there. And often we can only tune into those things when our environment and our mentality, our mental state is quite tuned in. It's quite subtle and it's gone quite quiet. So thank you for that. And maybe one more before we go, because I know that we're a minute over. I haven't got the name, but they say, I'm really happy to be here and in a supportive space. I've not started school yet, but I know this will benefit me a lot when I begin, because it's very calming and I like the reminders you give us, especially because it's relevant to us as students. Feeling grateful to be able to do these sessions and be here. Thank you for such a lovely message. Good luck when you start school again. And yeah, I think reminders as well around how to relate to our experience of when we notice the mind wanders or we experience some discomfort. How do we work with that as best we can? Can we bring a little bit of patience and kindness to ourselves? And sometimes we will be able to, and that will feel quite easy. And maybe a lot of the time we're going to really struggle with that. And that's okay too. This is a practice and we are all works in progress. So if it doesn't feel too overwhelming or too challenging, I would just really encourage you, keep coming, keep developing that skill. Like any skill, like anything we try to learn, it always takes patience and persistence. So I'm really glad that we have this community where people keep on returning to, and we can create this space where we can practice. Okay, that's everything from me. We're at 2 minutes past, so that means I'm going to head off. You guys have this space now to unmute yourselves and chat and connect as a community. So yeah, please allow that thread of mindfulness to continue, whether you're staying on or you're heading off to do something else. And always just remember, the body is here, the breath is here, the sounds are here to always just tune us back in again from running on automatic pilot to bringing us back into awareness of where our mind is, how we're feeling in the present moment. Okay, treat each other with kindness and with love, and I will be back again at this time on Wednesday. I will see hopefully all of you there. Bye, everybody. Bye.